So today I have the distinct pleasure of talking with Alon. Upwork Labs was fortunate enough to be the first investor in Honeybook. Thank you for allowing us to invest. I have a bunch of questions I think the folks here will be intrigued to hear about. But before we get going, just tell us a little bit about Honeybook, what you guys are up to, some facts and figures.
So thank you very much for the intro, by the way, too. So as mentioned, Honeybook started roughly around 4 years ago. And today we serve amazing small businesses, creative professionals, from photographers through event planners, florists, and even venues. And what we do for them is practically two things. We help them manage their businesses, so running their transactions, contracts, proposals with their clients. And we help them communicate with each other, which means a photographer would like to collaborate with a DJ and refer business to a DJ. We would like to cultivate that relationship and to help them to grow their businesses. The truth is that on the first part of the story, we have a great product market fit. And on the second side of the story, we're still looking for one. So iterating quite a lot to get there.
Excellent. And you're based in Israel and the US?
We're based in Israel and the US. We are, I think that I'll give the right numbers. We're around almost 120 full-time employees today in the company. 22 here in Tel Aviv, and around 85 in San Francisco.
Excellent. So before we get, I have a bunch of questions here, but the previous talk was, Dov is amazing, and he mentioned a number there of 4% likelihood to succeed. Do you agree with that?
I think he said less than 4%,
less than
but yeah, I fully agree with that.
So why are we here exactly? If we have 4%, why are you here?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So first of all, you can't take your money back, right?
No.
Okay. So now I'm calm. We probably have less than 4% to succeed still. And I think that the reason that we're still here, it's because, you know, when we look at 4% and we say to ourselves, there's less than 4% to succeed, so why would you go through all this pain? And I believe that the only answer you can give to that is that you enjoy the pain, and that you enjoy the process. And every single day, we have the privilege to work with the most amazing people in our company. So the truth is that I don't really care if it's less than 4%, even if it's less than 1%. I will still want to do exactly this. And that's just reality.
Interesting. So let's...
But if you want to invest, then the chances are more like 90%, but that's, well,
yes.
Depends what you're asking.
Yes. I'll make sure to tell that to your next investor.
Yep.
But let's dial the clock back a bit, because I think maybe some folks don't know this, but you know, 4.5 years ago when we first met, or 5 years ago when you started, you know, you were an owner of a bar called Becky Bar, Eving Virol 13.
Who has been to the Becky?
Becky Bar? Yes.
No, you can't like keep me hanging here. Right. You need to raise your hands.
That's right. So Oz was a partner of the Becky Bar. You know, your wife and partner in crime is a freelance UX designer, and you guys decided to come up with Honeybook. I hope you don't mind me asking, but you know, what the heck, right? I mean, what's the connection? Why this startup? Why any startup?
So first of all, you know, there's many things that you understand in retrospect, in hindsight, and when we look back and ask ourselves, how did we get to do exactly what we're doing today? And you know, we started it together with Dror, who's sitting there, whom we actually met at the Becky, and at the time we were thinking about something slightly different, but somehow we still got to do what we're doing today. And back to your question. We were both small businesses. You know, running a bar is being a small business. Being a freelance UX engineer means that you are a small business. And we were both passionate about design and serving people. So
I think the natural thing to do is to want to serve as many people as you can, if you possibly can. And today, the best chance to do that is building a company and forming it around design. And guess what? Serving people, small businesses, creative professionals who are excited about design and serving people. So I think it makes perfect sense.
Okay, and so you want to serve people, and you start the company. Why get up and go to the US? Why so quickly also, right? It was in the early days.
First of all, we went to the US because you convinced us, Gil. So if that was the right move or not, I think, you know.
We'll know in about 10 to 15 years. So.
We wanted to go to Australia, which is an amazing market, by the way, and Dov was just standing here and talking about that market. But going to the US was right, or should be the right move whenever you want to serve the American market. And moving there early on helped us really understand who are these people that we're serving. There's just too many things that we don't know. And it doesn't matter how many American movies we watched in our life, and the fact that we can, to an extent, can communicate in English. In the end of the day, you do these small, ridiculous mistakes when you build product. And one example that we faced in the very first week in San Francisco was we showed this timeline to a photographer, and a timeline of photos. And the photographer looked at it and asked us, what is this number, this 1600? And we look at him like, what do you mean? That's 4 o'clock. And we were shocked that Americans don't know what 1600 means. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just us, but that's just one of hundreds of mistakes that we made just by not fully understanding, the American market, and gladly we started there, so it helped a lot.
But I'm sure you showed up, and did people automatically gravitate towards your product? They wanted to use it without stop, or was it less so?
So we had a brilliant idea, right? It was, we are going to help you send contracts online, proposals online, get paid online. And we went and pitched it to event planners at first. And the reaction from them was, we call it the 3 famous no's. They said, that's a great idea, but we don't want to send proposals online. We don't want people to sign our contracts online. And we don't want to do payments online. And the reality was that we were very lucky that one of our co-founders, Naama, was so persistent and kept on saying, you know what, I don't care what they're telling us, right?
You don't care what your customers are telling you.
Yeah, what our customers say. We just don't care what they're telling us. We believe that their life will be better. And all we need to do is help them see that. And our argument constantly against Naama was, but, face reality. Why do we want to go on this journey to educate a market? But we're lucky that in the end, she's as persistent against us as against the market. And we needed to ask the question why many times to understand why they don't want to do it until we figure it out and get them to join.
Yeah, but I mean, it always sounds glamorous, right? You go to the US and you work with customers, but there's a lot of digging there, right? I mean, customers didn't jump on your product, and you did many unconventional things sometimes to retain those customers, find those customers. Maybe you can share some tips, things that folks can do, tomorrow morning when they think about their customers.
So who has customers here? Raise your hands. Okay. Are they always happy, your customers? Who has customers that are 100% of the time happy? No one. So the answer, I think, is simple. I believe it's simple. And it's just never compromise on supporting your customers. Don't care about unit economics early on. if a customer forgets their password, we would go to their house to remind them their password.
You mean physical house?
Physically go to their house to remind them their
creepy,
password. It's a real story. Our COO, first day, had to go to someone's house to learn that she forgot her password. If a customer of ours published on Facebook that she's stuck at home because of her son and she doesn't have a babysitter and she wants to go to serve her customer, the very first thing we did is we offered to babysit her child.
You literally?
We literally offered to babysit her child.
Did you?
Did, well, kind of. We had an amazing office manager at the time, Megan, who was certified to be a babysitter, so we could actually do it. But the reality was, again, it wasn't for PR. It wasn't. We truly believed, and that her success is our success, and at all times we need to support them. Now, the truth is that, like every product at the beginning, it was clunky. It wasn't the best experience ever, and by supporting our customers, we got their support back. We got them to stay with us, although it wasn't always easy. And then the last thing I would say, and back to unit economics and even doing things that don't scale, we did everything we can manually at the beginning. I personally transacted 1,732 transactions, the first 1,732 transactions, until Dror was kind enough to automate that process. But we wanted to really do our best, and I think it paid off over time for sure.
Okay, so let's switch up gears. So first takeaway, the maniacal focus on the customers. Let's move on to something that I know you're very proud of. So there's this website called Glassdoor, and Glassdoor ranks all companies along employee satisfaction and recommendation. They rank anything from Apple and Google to small companies of 10, 20 employees, and it's for everyone to see. And Honeybook has the very specific distinction of being ranked #1 out of 290,000. So that's a bit nuts, right? Actually, I think I saw the other day Salesforce does all these rankings about potential companies they want to acquire and everything. They didn't mention you. But what they did have, they had like 10 criteria, how much money raised, the employees, and Glassdoor was one of the criteria. That was interesting. So what's the secret? I mean, we met first time, just to give folks some background, we met first time in a small coffee shop. Doesn't no longer exist here in Tel Aviv. But after 10 minutes, you told me, hey, Gil, forget this. Come to our office, quote unquote, which is actually our apartment, because I want you to sense the vibe. And, that theme of, the importance of sensing the vibe and focusing on employees was key. What are the things you've done the last 4 years to really emphasize that? What's been the outcome? Has it paid off?
So first of all, there's a conflict here because I have some competitors in the crowd when it comes to employees. So if I tell our secret,
nobody's
I
listening.
can lie.
Just tell me. Just tell me.
No, okay. We'll share our secret. So the secret is actually, it's simple. It just goes back to customer support. We have an amazing customer support. That's it. That's why employees are happy.
What does it mean? What do you mean, customer support?
It's obvious. When you are truly a customer-centric company, and you hire people that care about customers, when you hire engineers that actually want human beings to touch their code, then they're happy. And everybody in a company is happy. When you have a set of core values from very early on, and you're truthful for them, and genuine, and you make sure that the core values that you have inside the company are the same that you have outside the company. The combination of that, I believe, is evident to all our team members, and therefore, people are happy to work. And I think that, again, just to put it in more context, people are happy when they have impact, right? And when they develop. And if you have the combination of these two, your employees are happy.
Yeah, but let's bring it down a level. What do you do, for example, in the recruiting process and the hiring process? How do you instrument what you just said from the beginning? I mean, folks, they are hiring, and like you said, looking for engineers and product managers and so forth. What do you do in that process to ensure that culture?
So Maya, who's sitting there next to Dror, is in charge on this process here in Tel Aviv. So maybe we should call Maya to the stage and she will answer. No, I'm joking, I'm joking. Not going to influence your happiness. So, you mentioned that back in the coffee shop, the very first thing we wanted is for you to come to our house, right? And I think it's just the same thing. It's when you look at a candidate that is evaluating the opportunity, it's not only about you evaluating them, right? It's about them evaluating you. So you need to open the kimono.
What does that mean?
You need to invite them to your house, invite them to your office. Make sure they make the right decision. Maybe Honeybook is not for them, right? An engineer that does not really care about customers, but cares more about her or his code, is not a fit for Honeybook. If that person does not care about product, they're not a fit for Honeybook. So it's really important that we show them, we give them the numbers. By the way, great strategy for competitors. If you want, just disguise yourself as a candidate, you'll know everything about us. And in the end, the process ends with they know us much better. Hopefully they fall in love. And yeah, I think that's the strategy.
Interesting. So we talked about customers, talked about employees. Let's talk about some other challenges that I think are good challenges, right? Which is sort of being in this, tremendous growth situation. So going back, I think it was 18 months ago we spoke, and you were very proud, and I know you're very transparent, so it's okay. I'm going to share this number. You were very proud to have reached cumulatively, since Honeybook began, $1 million of GMV. So total transactions made on the Honeybook platform reached $1 million. This was about 18 months ago,
That's
right?
A lot.
That's a lot. You were, I think you had a party at the time.
We had a
right?
party.
You were like 40, 50 employees at the time. So that was then. Where are you guys at today? If it's okay, no reporters, nobody would share.
Yeah, we're not sharing, right? Promise?
Yeah.
So this month, actually, we celebrated $100 million. Nice. And I think, again, it sounds, so it's $100 million, right? It's big and it's dollars, but the truth is it's not really dollars. It's 100 million data points of trust. Because remember, these people, our members, our customers, they didn't want to do it in the beginning, and we had to convince them. So seeing these 100 million data points of trust is a huge thing for us. But it's just the beginning.
Just the beginning, but this again, right? It's always the front door is always nice, but what was behind the scenes? Any mistakes you made, or any tips around things that you need to do right now, right? You're a company, you're optimistic, you want to be in the 4% that succeed. What do you do in your company right now to help it scale? What are the things? We talked about culture, we talked about customer focus. What are the other things you help the company in order to scale?
I think if I would start this list, it would never end. At every given point of time, it really feels like you're in the very beginning. We just mentioned 100 million. We look back and we're shocked by this level of growth. We believe that was looking from the first dollar to 100,000 to 1 million to 10 to 100 million. It looks crazy in a very short period of time. But the truth is that we don't feel that we're growing that fast. And if you join our meetings at Honeybook, every single meeting we're just looking at ourselves and why are we not growing as fast as we want? So I believe it's maintaining that is key, and constantly asking ourselves, why are we not growing as fast enough? How could we grow faster? How can we increase the speed, accelerate the speed of growth? That probably is our answer to how we're going to scale in the future. We feel like we built great foundation for from our employees and our ability to execute, but being just unsatisfied every single day, that's what will help us scale.
And I think a quote you use all the time is, 1% down, 99% to go.
But you see, with a million, it was right.
That's right.
It was exactly that.
That's right. So 1% down, 99% to go. How do you see the next 5 years, both from a Honeybook product perspective, but things that you write yourself every morning, or you think about that this is what you personally, as the CEO of a company, need to focus on? How does your time allocation change, and where you see the company going the next 5 years?
It's a great question. So I think in your question, you talked about the 1% down. And my mother actually asks all the time. So she says, okay, I saw the product, that's done, so what else do you need to do now? And the truth is that we look at the product and we really see, we don't even see a beta version of it, right? Like we look at it, it seems like the very, very, very beginning. So 5 years from now, I hope we will be one step closer to our vision. I hope we will see creative professionals not needing anyone else beyond us as a partner. I hope that we will see these people being able to support their families with less time at work and more time at home while we do the rest. And I hope to see a culture of thousands of team members that carry the same set of values that our close to 120 team members have today.
Thank you.
And that one mother will be happy.
Nice. We have a couple of moments. I'll open it up for any questions if anybody has a question to ask. Going once.
No questions.
Going twice.
People
no
are hungry.
People are hungry. We're standing between them and the food? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
true.
you so much.
Wait, before that,
Gil,
maybe I'll ask you a few questions.
No, it's okay.
Well, if we have time and no one is asking
look,
questions.
You're on stage. Look, it's okay.
Yeah. So wait, Gil, so why are you here this week?
To interview you and be on Geektime.
Okay, nothing about the fact that you're getting married on Wednesday? I had to. I promised Shuli. That's, by the way, the best time to pitch Gil. When he's trying to do everything but like to forget that he's getting married this week. So congratulations, Gil. We are all super excited for you. And I heard it's a great industry. So thank you for increasing it by 1.4.
Thank you
very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.